Hi, my name is Kiran Patel and I'm a Solutions Marketing Manager at AWS, working on media solutions. Thank you for joining us on this session around simplifying contribution for live streaming. Just a quick overview of what I'll cover. I want to be looking at OTT video and essentially defining what OTT means and live video streaming means. And then I'll be looking at the options you have of building those workflows on AWS. And then diving a little deeper into the AWS Media Services and what they do and how they can benefit you in building those workflows. And then finally, I want to look at the new AWS Elemental Link device, which makes it even easier to get that video content into AWS and start using the media services for those workflows. So first off, OTT. What is OTT? What is live streaming video? So traditionally, video has been watched on either physical media or broadcast, either over satellite or cable or over the air. But we can't really say recently anymore because it's essentially been since the 1990s. More content has been made available over the internet, and actually more content is being viewed over the internet. So the over the top of the internet is where the term OTT comes from. So OTT video is referring to video that's essentially delivered over the top of the internet. So it's delivered over the internet. So to get that video, or to get good OTT video, you need more than just the video content. So there's a lot that you need to look at surrounding that video to make successful or to make good OTT workflows. So the first of those things is to actually get the video into the right format. So raw video or high quality video isn't designed to be distributed over the internet. So you need to compress that video, convert it into a format that's suitable to be delivered over the internet. That normally means making the video files smaller and making the resolutions designed to work on the devices that people are watching videos on. So you need smaller video sizes for cell phones and potentially higher quality video files for TV devices. So you want to be providing a range of video to be delivered over the internet. So as I said, it's not just cell phones and tablets, but now it's almost impossible to buy a TV that doesn't have some form of OTT delivery, so a way of watching video delivered over the internet. So on top of that delivery, essentially added to that compression of the video, you need a way of delivering that video. So a content distribution network or a content delivery network is required to get that content delivered to your audiences over the internet. And then you'd also need to be thinking about some form of strategy to generate revenue. So adding to your workflow a way to monetize either using ads or a subscription-based service or a pay-per-view or a transactional-based service as well. So there's a lot of change that's been happening in that industry. So although it's pretty new, it's only been going for a few decades, a lot of change has happened. And the traditional ways of building those workflows, which used to be essentially making something that would be static, designed to work for 5 or 10 years at a time, aren't really competitive anymore. You need a workflow that will keep up with the changes in technology, the changes in audience demand. So building on top of AWS is a kind of the ideal partnership to have a nimble, agile solution that can constantly change and constantly be updated as the requirements and as the audience needs change as well. So what are the options that we have available? So if you're building OTT workflows in AWS, you can start by using just the core building blocks and the core building blocks that are provided, essentially the compute, the storage, the networking workflows. So all of those will let you build exactly the workflow you need on top of AWS, but then you're still having to manage that infrastructure. And if you don't have the expertise and the development expertise to be building on AWS, then there are also the large partner network that either have off-the-shelf services or off-the-shelf solutions that they can provide you. Or build you custom solutions. And if your requirements are very specialized, then we also have professional services that will take those requirements and build you something that can be used to meet exactly what you need in that OTT workflow. But on top of those core services, just as when it comes to using a database on AWS. There's very few people that would essentially build on top of EC2 or build on top of S3. AWS has provided services like DynamoDB and Athena and Neptune that build databases without you having to worry about the underlying infrastructure. We've done the same with the AWS Media Services. So we've provided the building blocks that build a OTT video workflow without you having to worry about the underlying infrastructure that powers those building blocks or powers that workflow. And they're all designed to work independently, but they also do work together. But if you want to use them together, we've made that even easier as well by providing solution templates. So you can use a CloudFormation template to build either a live workflow that's kind of end-to-end, or a VOD transcoding workflow end-to-end as well. So I'm going to dive deeper into what those media services are. So in this diagram, you can see essentially a VOD workflow along the bottom, a live workflow along the top, and the supporting services around the outside. So I'll go into the supporting services first because they are essential. So I mentioned a content distribution network is required to get that live or VOD content delivered over the internet to your audiences. So Amazon CloudFront is AWS's content distribution network, or CDN. So it forms the end of these workflows. So taking live content and making sure that's available to your audiences, and taking on-demand or video on-demand or VOD content and making that available to your audiences as well. We also have Amazon S3, which is a perfect storage solution for video, either high quality video that could be the source of a live or an on-demand workflow, or as a source of content that's being delivered on demand as well. And then at the top from the live workflow, you can see AWS Elemental Live, which is a on-premises either appliance or software, which is a professional kind of broadcast grade, fully featured live encoder that can either get your content into the cloud for further processing, or do all the processing and just use the cloud for origination and distribution. So those are the surrounding services. We'll look at the actual Elemental Media Services as well. So the first one we'll look at is Media Convert, which is the file-based video processing service. So that essentially takes a single file in, or multiple files in, and will produce output, either converting that file into a different format, or for OTT workflows, it will convert that file into a format that's designed to be distributed over the internet. So what we call that normally is an adaptive bitrate set. So it's not just producing a single file. What we want is a series of files that are designed not just to play on different devices, but also to play across different network conditions. So you may have a smaller resolution file that's designed to play on a cell phone, but also a smaller file size or a lower quality file that's designed to play over a cellular network as well. And then we produce a set, so those step progressively over higher resolutions and better qualities up to something that could be a full ultra high definition resolution and a really, really high bit rate for someone that's connected on a kind of a stronger Wi-Fi network or a cabled connection. And because we're producing all of those at the same time, the players have the option of switching between those bit rates to maintain playback as that video, as your network conditions may vary. So you don't end up with a buffering event or interruptions in playback. Your player can actually just drop to a lower quality stream, continue playback, and then as the video improves, switch to a higher quality stream. So the next service I'll look at is across the top, so which is the live workflow. So we'll look at AWS Elemental Media Connect, which is a live video transport service. So essentially what that does is take a video source that's on premises or on the ground and give you a route to get that high quality video content into the cloud, and then actually across the AWS network, and if you need to, back out of AWS network back to an on-premises location as well. So it's looking after all of the security and reliability, making sure that that content is encrypted, making sure that there's any forward error correction applied or any retransmission applied, all without you having to manage all that infrastructure in between. So it gets a secure, reliable connection and a high quality video can be sent into the cloud. A lot of customers will use that to send content to MediaLive, which is the live video processing service. So it's a version of Media Connect that works for a live output. So it will take either a live streaming input, or if you're doing kind of pre-recorded content, it can take a file input and produce a live stream off the file input to produce a live stream output. So the key difference with our MediaLive compared to Media Convert is it has to work in real time. So it's producing a live streamed output, which means it's still producing an ABR stream. So it's still producing a set of content that can be viewed across different devices and network conditions. But it has to do all of that in real time. So for every second that passes, it has to be producing a second of video in all the different formats that you've configured it to produce. The next service in the chain would be AWS Elemental Media Store, which is a live video origination service. So if we go back to the ABR streams, how they work is by producing a set of small video files for every rendition that you've chosen in that kind of ladder set. So each file can be a few seconds long, which means every few seconds you're writing a few files to disk. And then there's a manifest or a playlist file which references all the video that's been produced. And then your CDN is using that as an origin, so it will be looking at reading those files and reading those manifests to make them available to all your audiences. So that origin layer needs to be storage that not only has great performance for a high frequency of writes, but also has great performance for a high frequency of reads, and then essentially has to have very good and immediate consistency because those manifest files are being updated every few seconds as well. And that means if you don't have the latest manifest being offered to the CDN and to the player, you end up with errors in playback or buffering events, which you don't want. So Media Store gives you all of that performance for live streaming within that service. If you're looking to do more than just pass through what the origin, what the encoder has produced as an origin, we have AWS Elemental Media Package. And that offers a series of just-in-time packaging and just-in-time encryption features on top of being a video origin for live and video on-demand files. So it will take a single ABR source, so that could be a live stream or an ABR file set, and make it available in a range of different formats for output. So although a single output can work across different devices, there's lots of different formats that are optimized to work much better across different devices. So if you have an iPhone and an Android and a games console, sometimes it's better and you get better performance and better reach if you're able to produce different formats for each of those devices. So Media Package lets you do that without having to produce all those outputs up front. So your encoder doesn't have to produce multiple outputs, and your file you don't have to store multiple files to deliver all of those different outputs. What Media Package also does is enable you to produce DRM, or digital rights management, to protect your content. So it will encrypt the content on the fly as well. So there's lots of different encryption technologies available, and Media Package will work with a range of them and encryption and DRM partners to make sure that that content can be protected at point of distribution. So again, you can switch DRM methodologies and DRM partners without needing to retranscode or all of your back library or change configuration on your encoder. Media Package will have that configuration step in there for you. It makes it also easier to kind of cycle keys and keep that content more secure. And the other thing that Media Package has built in is a set of DVR-like features. So if you're sending a live stream through Media Package, it will enable you to do live restart functionality. You could pause the live stream. You could have time-shifted live stream. So if you're broadcasting across different time zones, a single live input and a single set of outputs can be configured to produce a live stream, and then potentially a live stream that plays 1 hour behind the original live stream. So from a single source, you could be producing live outputs for different time zones. And it also works with live to VOD. So you can apply 2 time codes to the live stream, and it will lift the already encoded content and make that available as a video on demand asset. And the last of the media services I wanted to look into is AWS Elemental Media Tailor. And that's a personalization and monetization service. So that forms part of an ad insertion workflow. So working with the clients that do the playback and the CDN, as well as an ad decision server, what Media Tailor will do is take that live content, whether it's a live stream or an on-demand stream, and it will insert ads personalized to the viewer that's watching them. So it will create a unique manifest for everyone that's watching. So they get a personal experience and personalized ads inserted into that. While it's doing that, it will also ensure that because it's done essentially server-side, because it's part of the live stream that's being delivered, the playback experience is better. The playback experience is personalized and it's more TV-like, so you don't get interruptions or buffering between, even though it's a personal experience, you don't get buffering or between the main content and the ad content. So everything looks and feels like it's a TV experience. So as I mentioned, all of these services, they're essentially building blocks. So they work independently. So if you're looking to migrate into the cloud, you can look at just using MediaLive. You don't have to use the surrounding services, but they do all work together as well. So if you want to build a live streaming workflow, you can connect MediaLive with Media Package and CloudFront and have a live channel. And to make that easier, as I said, we've got a set of templates or solutions that build those end-to-end workflows for you. So here we're showing live streaming on AWS with Media Package. So what this will do is if you add what your input is to the configuration, it will build your live channel for you. So it uses MediaLive in its standard channel mode. So it takes in 2 inputs, makes it highly available and reliable. So it's distributing its encoding resources across different availability zones. So you get reliability and high availability built in. And then it produces 2 outputs of ABR HLS streams. Those are input into Media Package. The Media Package takes care of all the failover and redundancy between those 2 live streams, and also produces a range of outputs for you because it's doing the just-in-time packaging. And then a single set of endpoints is available through CloudFront for distribution to the viewers. This solution comes with a demo player, so as soon as you've started that channel off, if you've got a live input there, you can start watching that live stream immediately on that demo page that's provided. And if you don't have a live input, it comes with a canned video input as well. So there's a HLS stream that will loop. You can select that as the source of your live stream. That means that you can get a live channel working even if you don't have access to an encoder or a live source to start that live stream. So you can still learn the services, get a live stream working, even without a live stream to start with. So if you want a simpler, more fundamental live streaming solution, we have live streaming on AWS with Media Store. This uses MediaLive in its single pipeline mode. So you only need to provide 1 input, and then it still produces its ABR stream as HLS. And because we only want to make HLS available, it's using Media Store as its origin, and then still has CloudFront for its distribution of that HLS content. You can still use that canned source, so you can get started quickly if you don't have an input. But what we're trying to do is make it easier to get that live input into the cloud, because that can be challenging. So that first step in that live video chain can be one of the most challenging ones. So what are the challenges for remote contribution? So a lot of the time, it's just that high quality video source. You want to make sure that your live stream starts with the best quality video coming in. But getting that content up into the cloud or into AWS when you have potentially unpredictable network conditions is very challenging. And a lot of the time you need very professional high-grade equipment, and that can come with a overhead of configuration and trouble with troubleshooting. And even if you're using a simpler solution, something that's just software working on a laptop, that configuration overhead and that troubleshooting overhead needs to be at the location where you're doing the streaming. So someone has to manage that encoding software, even if it's off a simple laptop and not a professional grade piece of equipment. But if you are using that professional equipment, it tends not to be very portable, and it also generates a lot of heat and takes up a lot of power. And all the professional equipment is also very, very expensive. So that can limit either experimentation and innovation, but also if you're not using something essentially in a 24/7 or a kind of constant linear live streaming environment, you end up with an expensive piece of hardware that's completely underutilized. Because if your live event workflow is running, then you may only be needing that live stream for a few hours a week or potentially even a few hours a month. So how can we help? What we've done is introduce the new AWS Elemental Link device. So this Link device is a small form factor device that sends live video into the cloud, so it's immediately available for use with MediaLive for connecting to a live channel. So the device itself is really fast and easy to set up. It arrives fully configured, and it will be sending thumbnails into the MediaLive console for you to view, so you can see the video source that's already connected to it. All the management of the device happens remotely, so either via API or via the console. So you can see what's being sent, you can see the metrics off the device, and you can start and stop channels from any location. It doesn't have to be at the location that the device is. And it's really small and portable. So it's less than £1, and it has a silent fanless operation. So it generates hardly any heat and doesn't generate any noise. So it's perfect for potentially attaching to the side of a camera if you need to. It's very cost effective. So it's a low cost device that sends a broadcast grade stream into the cloud. And it's very efficient to operate because, as I said, you don't need your broadcast or IT operators to be at the location of the device. It's very easy to use, which we'll go on to show in a second. And one of the best features around it is that it's sending high quality video, but it has a feature called channel tuning, which means that high quality video, it will meet your maximum bitrate requirement. So you can set a limit on what you think your bandwidth's going to be from the network you're sending your video from. But it won't interrupt that video. So if you have fluctuations in the network that's available, or the speed of internet connection that's available, the Link device will adjust its output to match the available network. So it won't be giving you dropped frames or black video. It will reduce the output to make sure that the video stream is successful. And then as your network improves, it will go back up to the configured maximum so you can get the best quality coming out of that device. Now, this simple use opens up a lot of common use cases where people that may have thought that live streaming or OTT live streaming was too hard for them, they can suddenly start streaming very easily. So as an example, if you're in a classroom, you just need a camera set up at the back of the classroom. Filming the teacher and connecting a Link device and the internet makes that live stream of a class or a classroom environment very easy to do. Or if you're in a music or a sports venue, if you've already got AV equipment set up to produce content for your big screen output, adding a Link device to the end of the output of that vision mixer means that you can have a live stream of that concert or sports event very easily set up. So it's designed to work even if you have limited kind of cloud development or OTT video experience. You essentially just need to plug in a few things. It's really easy in its workflow diagram as well. So Link is designed as a feature of MediaLive. So once it's plugged in and set up, it appears as a device in the MediaLive console, and it can be connected to a live channel configuration. And then that MediaLive live channel can be added to a package or an origination service like Media Package or Media Store, and then CloudFront, and then onwardly distributed. So it's that easy to set up. So I'm going to hand over to our product manager for Elemental Link to give a quick demo of the device just to show how easy it is.
I'm Matt Vegas, Senior Product Manager for Amazon Web Services. Today we're going to show you our new product, AWS Elemental Link, and how easy it is to set it up. All you got to do is plug in power, SDI. It'll also take HDMI as an input and Ethernet. And the device comes pre-configured to your Amazon account. It's going to automatically build up a video stream, automatically connect to MediaLive, and start sending video. In MediaLive, in the console, I have a channel all set up and ready to go. Once the device connects to MediaLive, it'll just start streaming right away. Right now, the connection state is showing as disconnected as it builds up a connection to the device. And we should see in a couple seconds here, it'll connect. All right, now we're connected. The device is streaming. So we're going to go to Media Package, where I've set up a CloudFront URL as our CDN. I'm going to pull up this QR code and scan it with my phone. And what you're going to see here is, in just a couple minutes, we've set up a live video stream. So that's how easy it is. Thank you, and back to you guys.
So just to kind of repeat how easy it is to get started, you can order a Link device directly from the AWS Management Console, and it ships to you pre-configured to your AWS account. And to set it up, as Matt showed, you just plug in the 3 cables, your power, your network, and your video, and it starts sending thumbnails directly to the console. And then all of the rest of the management, so the starting and the stopping of the live streams, your configuration of the device itself, all happens from the console, or you can configure it to use APIs. So a closer look at the device. So that's the back of the device itself. So you've got your Ethernet port where you plug in your internet connection, your power, the DC 12-volt power supply, which is provided, and you have an option of either a 3G SDI or a HDMI video input. And once those three things are connected, you're essentially connected to AWS, it's linked to your AWS account, and then video will be sent directly to MediaLive to be available to connect to a live channel. So to summarize kind of the specifications and the benefits, so the device itself is $995. So that's not including any taxes or shipping or duties that might be involved. And there is still the normal running costs for a MediaLive channel. So you get input charges for every MediaLive channel you run. So details of that are available on the MediaLive pricing page. So the device comes pre-configured, so you order it while logged into the console, so it knows your Amazon account ID, and then you select the region that you want the device to be working in. So it's pre-configured for your account and the region you want it to work in. And then it's automatically and reliably sending video directly to your MediaLive account. So it sends, as I said, with the channel tune workflow or the channel tune feature, it's adjusting the output of the video to match the available network bandwidth to it. And it's encrypting the video coming out of the device and into MediaLive, so it's kind of securely sending that without you having to manage any of the pieces in between. You can configure it to send up to 1080p 60, so that's a resolution of 1080 pixels and 60 frames per second as its maximum output. And it uses an efficient codec to make sure that quality of that video is great as it comes into MediaLive to be the source for your live channel. And then all the control happens from the console. So no one else needs to be at the location that you're doing the filming from. As long as they can plug in those three cables, everything else can be done remotely or automated using an API. And then monitoring the device for kind of errors or troubleshooting it feeds into CloudWatch for all your standard monitoring services within AWS, including the console and MediaLive as well. And to take it back to the services that we had before, so the solutions, if you're using the live streaming on MediaStore solution, you can get that live channel set up literally in minutes. So you have the option when you're creating that template to pick a device input. You can then enter the ID of your linked device. And then within a few minutes, the template will create your MediaLive channel, will create your MediaStore container, and your CloudFront distribution endpoint. So essentially, after opening the box and plugging it in, within a few minutes, you can have a live channel streaming available for anyone to watch. So for more information on that linked device, you can go to this URL. That provides you a lot of information, a spec sheet. There's access to a Jeff Barr blog post where he kind of set it up himself. And you can click on the link at the top to kind of get one ordered and get ready and get started very quickly. So thank you for joining this session, and thank you for your time.